For those of you guys who've been cosplaying for a while, you probably know just how expensive this hobby can be. It's also a pretty wasteful hobby. So today I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to make cosplay more accessible, more affordable, and less wasteful. There are 3 topics that I'm going to go over with you guys today, and that is no-buy groups, thrifting, and cosplay groups online. So as for thrifting can be a really great place to find fabric, and it doesn't necessarily have to be fabric that is just straight fabric like what you would buy at a craft store. It can be things like bed sheets, pillowcases. You can find different items of clothes to rip apart and redo by using the fabric that is what it's made out of. So there's lots of different things that you can find at thrift stores to make cosplays from. You just kind of have to find ways to get creative, and that's a lot of what goes into making cosplay more affordable, is getting creative with what's around you and not necessarily sticking to straight items and supplies that we think of typically when we're making a project. There are lots of different ways where you can get creative with different items that you might not necessarily think of for making that specific item of your cosplay. So thrifting can be a great option. It's also a great way to make closet cosplays. Another really great option that I've discovered recently that is so cool is no-buy groups. There are no-buy groups on Facebook. You guys know how I feel about Meta. I don't like Meta. It's the main place that I've seen a lot of no-buy groups though. I know that there are websites with no-buy groups as well outside of Facebook. But if you find a local no-buy group that is local to you in your area, it is very common that you will be able to come across items that you can use for your cosplay. I have acquired an entire collection of like 4 flat sheets for your bed, along with pillowcases, which are things that, like I said, you can take apart and make into cosplays. And the other really cool thing about no-buy groups is you can specifically request different items to see if somebody already has it and is willing to part with it. I was able to get into contact with a really wonderful woman who was retiring from sewing, and she gave me a ton of her old sewing supplies. And the rule about no-buy groups is they're free. Like, you're not allowed to pay for anything. The rules are that you can either trade or give away items, and you just have to express gratitude when you're done to thank the people that you were gifted from. So it's a really great place for you to find different items, again, getting creative and figuring out the best ways for you to take different supplies and turn them into cosplay. Now, this is something that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but it's something that I've done myself. And that is finding your local cosplay groups and doing something kind of similar to what I was talking about when it comes to the no-buy groups. And that is, you can request items or just say like, hey, I'm looking to make this build. Is there anybody who might have an item to part that they're okay with parting with so that I can make it, that they're either willing to sell or they are willing to part with? That's something that I've personally done. I lost my job recently, and I went on there and asked if anybody was willing to part with some of their cosplay supplies to get me started with creating again since I moved, and I had a very, very kind human on there help me put together a brand new set, new to me, set of supplies to get started with. Like I said, there are really great ways to acquire supplies and tools to use for your cosplays. You just have to look in the right places. You don't necessarily have to spend a ton of money on your cosplays. They don't have to be super wasteful. There are so many different types of materials you can use to create cosplays. Think outside the box and you can piece together something really cool. When I was at Fan Expo Denver, there was a really incredible cosplayer at the Cosplay Grand Prix who made her entire cosplay out of recycled materials. It was incredible. So do not confine yourself to having to buy everything or having to use new items for every single piece you build. Get creative and don't limit yourself. There's lots of opportunity for different creations out there. If you guys have any tips or tricks on this topic, put them in the comment section below. let's start a conversation and turn this into a great resource for people to use when making their cosplays. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like cosplay content, and I will see y'all in the next one.